Well, let's continue our Bible readings over the 3 years. We're using the Revised Common Lectionary. Let's go to our browser. I'm using Google, and you can use whatever browser you have. You type in Revised Common Lectionary, and you'll see Revised Common Lectionary. We go to Daily Readings. I'll be doing this every day until everyone gets used to it. Daily readings for year A. We're in cycle A. There's 3 cycles to the 3 years. So we're in cycle A. Remember, the church year always begins with Advent. So always the first Sunday of Advent, which is always the 4 Sundays prior to Christmas. And we'll click on that. You'll remember that we come down to our date, and today is Tuesday, November 29th, 2022. And this is our 3 readings that we have. I want to show you something that I didn't show you yesterday, is that Psalm 124 we had for Monday, Psalm 124 we have for today, and Psalm 124 we have for tomorrow. You'll notice that in Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays readings, they also share the same psalm. So the psalm is redundant in each of the situations. And that's because it's kind of the lead in to the rest of the scriptures. So let's click on you'll remember that if we click on our readings, it takes us to Bible Gateway, which is another application. And by the way, if you don't like to read in the New International Version, you can click down here and you can read in any version that you like. I prefer the English Standard Version. And then you just click the little spyglass, and then you remember that we already read Psalm 124 yesterday, and also we read about Noah yesterday. This is a continuation. Genesis 9, 1 through 17 is a continuation. And you remember that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's readings are all meant to reinforce last Sunday's sermon. And last Sunday's sermon was from Romans chapter 13, is about putting on Christ. And also, since it was for the first Advent, it's about the anticipation, putting on Christ, because he's going to be coming again someday, a second coming. So as we celebrate Christmas, they were looking forward to his first Advent. We are now looking forward to his second Advent, or the second coming. And so this particular story of Noah in chapter 9 is about the rainbow promise. And I like to go to the last few verses here. It says, "And God said, this is a sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, this is a sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." And so once again, we have a scripture that tells us that God always keeps his promises. And his promise is that someday that Jesus Christ will return in the second coming. And so we hold on to that promise dearly. And that's the symbol of the rainbow. The rainbow is a symbol of God's covenant promise to us, that God always keeps his promises. And then in our other reading is in Hebrews 11, 32 through 40. You'll remember that Hebrews chapter 11, you can always click on read full chapter. You'll see that right here. It's on. You'll see it on each and every section. If you want to read the full chapter, you can do so. But Hebrews chapter 11 is called the Hall of Fame of Faith in the Bible. And it's where it talks about all the major characters that demonstrated faith from Abraham on, who demonstrated faith. By faith Abraham did this, and by faith Sarah did this, and by faith Rebecca did this, and so on and so forth. And so what I want to point out in this passage is that it says, "And what more shall we say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah and David and Samuel and the prophets." In other words, he's saying in this Hall of Fame chapter, I don't have time to talk about all the heroes of the faith. But he wants us to know something. "Who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, and stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong out of weakness, became mighty in war, put foreign armies to flight." And what they're saying here is that we may face tribulation in this world, But even though we may face tribulation in this world, as these heroes and heroines of the faith did, we know that someday Christ is coming again to set all things straight. And of course, that's a reinforcement of, once again, last Sunday's lesson, where we put on Christ in anticipation of his coming again. Well, I trust as you read these scriptures throughout the day that you will find meaning in them. And take some time periodically to read the entire chapter and read them in context, especially Hebrews chapter 11. It's one of the more famous chapters, especially the first 3 or 4 verses of Hebrews chapter 11. Well, we'll see you tomorrow.